Welcome to Remedial 1 YouTube channel. In this video, I'm solving question number 11 for WASSCE 2023, Core Mathematics. So let's start. From the top P of a building, 320 meters high, the angles of depression of the top hill and bottom R of another building on the same horizontal ground are 29 degrees and 41 degrees respectively. We have to illustrate the information in a diagram. Then the second part, we have to calculate the height of the other building correct to the nearest meter. Okay, so let's begin. The second part is the time taken to travel a distance of 120 kilometers was reduced by 30 minutes when the speed was increased by 20 kilometers per hour. We have to calculate the initial speed. So let's see how the solution. Okay, first of all, this is the diagram. We have two buildings. This is the first one and then the bottom one. So angle of depression, you are at the top and then you're looking at something on the ground, right? So this is the top of the other building. This is the other building. We are using this one for the other building, and then this is the first building, right? Okay, now from the question, the height here is 320 meters. That's from P to T, right? So this is the full diagram. Now let's see the second. We have to calculate the height of the other building, right? This is the other building. That is the height, right? We know the height of the first building. So to be able to find this, we know this angle too. So let's consider triangle PTR, right? So this will be 90 degrees, right? And then that is the offset. And then the down here becomes the adjacent. So first let's find TR, right? So TR is the adjacent, offset and adjacent. Which of the ratio? That will be tan. Okay, so you can say that tan 41 degrees is equal to 320, which happens to be the offset, over TR. That is the adjacent. So we want to find TR. So let's cross multiply. TR becomes 320 divided by tan 41. Now when we simplify, TR becomes 368.1179 meters. So this is the distance of TR. Remember, TR is the same as x cube. So this one will also be 368.1179 meters. Okay, so using this triangle PSQ, we can find the side PS. So once again, tan 29 is equal to the offset, which is PX. We don't know the offset side, over adjacent. Adjacent is 368.1179 meters. The distance PX becomes 368.1179 times tan 29. So when we simplify, we are getting 204.0511 meters. Okay, so knowing the side here, we know the full length. So if we are able to calculate this side, then we can find the difference here. So the difference between this and that will be the height of the other building. So QR would then be the distance, 320 minus 204.0511. So which is 115.9489. Now to the nearest, or to the nearest meter, be 116 meters. kilometers. So that is the answer for the first one. So let's look at the B part. The B part, let's go back to the question. Okay. The time taken to travel a distance of 1 was reduced by 30 minutes when the speed was increased by. So let the speed, the initial speed, be x. Now we know that time is distance over speed, right? Good. So if the initial speed is x, the initial time will be 120 over x. Now this initial time was reduced when the speed was increased by 20. So the speed now becomes speed increase by 20. So the speed becomes x plus 20, right? And this initial time was reduced by 30 minutes. So we convert the 30 minutes to hours. So when we compare the 30 minutes to hours, it will be half an hour. Okay, so this is how we set up the equation. So the initial time, which is 120 over x, was reduced when the second time, that will be 120 over x plus 20, which will be equal to half an hour. Okay. So we can cross multiply, clear the fraction. So that will be 240 times x plus 20 minus 240x is equal to x times x plus 20. So when we simplify, we are getting x squared plus 20x minus 4,800 is equal to 0. So factorizing, we have x plus 80 times x minus 60 is equal to 0. So if you have something like this, it means that this is equal to 0 or that is equal to 0. So x plus 80 is equal to 0 implies that x is equal to minus 80. Then x minus 60 equal to 0 implies that x is equal to 60. The initial speed becomes 60 kilometers per hour. Okay, let's see how we award the mass. Okay, now when you are able to draw a diagram showing all this one, the height, Q, R, T, the angles, then you have B2. Okay, let's come to the other question. So for the ratio, this one, you have M1, and then the final answer A1. When it comes to this side too, if you are able to get this answer, get A1, right? In finding the difference, so for subtracting M1, final answer A1, right? Setting up your equation, the initial time, either this or that, right? So you get A1 as M1, you get M1. Okay. Now setting up the equation, this was the initial time, and then when the second one is when the time was the distance, the speed was increased by 20, and then the time was reduced to 30 minutes. So setting up the equation M1, then clearing the fraction, you get M1. Solving or factorizing, get M1, and then getting the answer 60 kilometers per hour, you get A1. And make sure the unit is correct. If you omit the unit, you lose 1 mark. So you get 13 marks. Viewers, thank you very much for watching this video. If you are watching us for the first time and you have not subscribed, kindly click on the subscribe button.